Episode number 269. That is to say, you refuse to serve me, monsieur, said the cardinal, with a tone of vexation, through which, however, might be seen a sort of esteem. Remain free, then, and guard your hatreds, and your sympathies. Monseigneur. Well, said the cardinal, I don't wish you any ill, but you must be aware that it is quite trouble enough to defend and recompense our friends. We owe nothing to our enemies, and let me give you a piece of advice. Take care of yourself, Monsieur d'Artagnan, for from the moment I withdraw my hand from behind you, I would not give an obolus for your life. I will try to do so, Monseigneur, replied the Gascon, with a noble confidence. Remember at a later period, and at a certain moment, if any mischance should happen to you, said Richelieu, significantly, that it was I who came to seek you, and that I did all in my power to prevent this misfortune befalling you. I shall entertain, whatever may happen, said D'Artagnan, placing his hand upon his breast, and bowing, an eternal gratitude toward your eminence for that which you now do for me. Well, let it be, then, as you have said, Monsieur d'Artagnan. We shall see each other again after the campaign. I will have my eye upon you, for I shall be there, replied the cardinal, pointing with his finger to a magnificent suit of armor he was to wear, and on our return, well, we will settle our account. Young man, said Richelieu, if I shall be able to say to you at another time what I have said to you today, I promise you to do so. This last expression of Richelieu's conveyed a terrible doubt. It alarmed D'Artagnan more than a menace would have done, for it was a warning. The cardinal, then, was seeking to preserve him from some misfortune which threatened him. He opened his mouth to reply, but without a gesture the cardinal dismissed him. D'Artagnan went out, but at the door his heart almost failed him, and he felt inclined to return. Then the noble and severe countenance of Athos crossed his mind. If he made the compact with the cardinal, which he required, Athos would no more give him his hand, Athos would renounce him. It was this fear that restrained him, so powerful is the influence of a truly great character on all that surrounds it. D'Artagnan descended by the staircase at which he had entered, and found Athos and the four musketeers waiting his appearance, and beginning to grow uneasy. With a word, D'Artagnan reassured them, and Planchet ran to inform the other sentinels that it was useless to keep guard longer, as his master had come out safe from the Palais Cardinal. Returned home with Athos, Aramis and Porthos inquired eagerly the cause of the strange interview, but D'Artagnan confined himself to telling them that M. de Richelieu had sent for him to propose to him to enter into his guards with the rank of ensign, and that he had refused. And you were right, cried Aramis and Porthos, with one voice. Athos fell into a profound reverie, and answered nothing. But when they were alone he said, You have done that which you ought to have done, D'Artagnan, but perhaps you have been wrong.